And now we're joined by one of our favorites, Senator Lautenberg from New Jersey. Bring back any memories there last night when you heard the former president tell
Yeah,
America where we are and where we need to go?
yeah. The flash of memory is, wow, I thought I could be like that. It just hasn't worked out. But it was an inspiration. You know, he has, everyone knows how good he is and how reliable he is in terms of his commentary. But last night was particularly inspirational because in this convention, as I've never seen it before, there is a true uh, definition of what an American is. It's everything.
I heard somebody say, I'm curious if you agree, that the choice for the electorate in November hasn't been as stark as this since LBJ and Goldwater. You buy that?
I buy that, but also where I went last night in my thoughts, that you see people of color, people of gender, you see all of the things that make a composite of what an American is like today. He's not black, he's not Asian, he's an American.
But yet, for as great a communicator as the president is, I've heard from a few people, Clinton was able to articulate how the party, and you're a vet yourself, they brought the GI Bill. They're the ones who started Social Security. They're the ones who are the Union Party. But if you look at the numbers, by a significant margin, white middle-class male voters are breaking for Romney. And here's a private equity guy. Why can Clinton connect with that electorate and this president hasn't to this point?
Well, it's they come from different persuasions, training, and so forth. Clinton, after all, was a governor, so he had experience at managing public service functions. And I think for Barack Obama, the recognition that he got is for his intellect, for his being, and he hasn't had the time, but I think he's good at it now, to manage events. And when you look at his record and you look at the 4 million jobs that have been created and the fight that he had to get the health care bill passed and the benefits of that health care, I think it was pretty apparent that Bill Clinton was talking not at, but for a Obama that he believed in. And so it was throughout the evening. I thought it was an inspirational meeting, and I've been to a lot of conventions, you know. Started, the first one was in 1984. In that one, I was invited to speak. It was almost the last speech at night after Mario Cuomo. I don't know, Richard.
City on the Hill, Ira, in San Francisco,
It was
right?
a city on the hill. And he mesmerized everybody. Unfortunately, people were mostly sleeping or out of there because they'd have heard my knees knocking when I got up there. But this one was motivational in a way. I mean, to me, the script is so visible. It's the bad guys and the good guys, as I see it. And the bad guys are not bad people, but they're bad politicians. The programs they want are not good for America. They're not good for working class people. They're not good for education. I'm a GI Bill graduate. What it meant to me, Richard, I could barely spell Columbia when I graduated high school, and I went to Columbia, and my world turned around because I saw that things could be different than my folks behind the counter at the candy store in their later years. So.
You articulate, certainly the president, he was a tough economic hand when he came in. He ran into a legislature and a Republican Party that from day one said priority one's not to get him elected. All that being said, a lot of Democrats say he's made it a little bit harder. Some say there was a naivete. Some say that there was a hubris to it. How do you think he's changed? And what do you think part of the problem was for such a guy who communicated as good as I've ever heard, had a communication problem for his first term?
Well, he was still living off his humiliation for having taken so long to talk at that convention when the biggest applause line was, and in closing, And so he learned from that mistake. And as a consequence, it's just mellowing out so wonderfully. And Hillary's experience, and yours to his benefit. She's been a great Secretary of State. And so this is really the elegant political family.
What does finally the president have to say tonight to get that undecided voter, you think?
And what he says is almost more important than how he says it. If he says it with force, if he says it with conviction, people will feel better about Obama. They like him, but he, in my view, and you're taking this for a kid from Patterson, so we don't grow up in Patterson without a few marks here and there. And President Obama, I think, had a similar thing. He left the university desk, he left the community service desk, and wound up with this enormous job. He's learned, and learned well, as Bill Clinton did from his experience. He was a fast learner in the final analysis, and the elegance with which he delivered a speech. It's not just the parsing of the words. It's the ability to communicate the feeling that accompanies those words. And I think that his speech last night was very important for Obama's learning and Obama's teaching.
Hey, Senator, I appreciate a few minutes. Thank you so much.
Great to see you.